The new guy's macking out his toolbox with stickers I gave him. Gave him a bunch of them. Oh, look, super clean. We're gonna be making a comeback on super clean with a new giveaway soon. Stay tuned for that. But we're not here for a giveaway today. We're gonna have a couple of giveaways coming up, actually. Give me a secret for now. We're here for a day in the shop, making it work. And I'm Jimmy. If you're new here, some of you guys may know, approaching 17,000 subscribers now. When I started this channel, I just wanted to have some fun. I wasn't sure if anyone would be interested or not, but support's been awesome. You guys are great, so I'm glad to keep going. Let's do this thing. Chilly this morning, 49 degrees. It's gonna be like 72 later though, so it'll be beautiful later. Get this little jacket off and I'll show off my my job security light t-shirt. Anyway, let's put some clips in, stop horsing around. Let's get to work. You know, I'm a doer. I learned how to talk a little bit since I started this channel. I'm not too talkative, but I'll put some clips in right here so you know what's gonna happen in today's video. We're taking a look at this Chevy truck, 2015 F150 Dodge Avenger. You guys feeling patriotic? All right, so now you have an idea what's going on. We got a nice sunrise behind us, a partly cloudy, I guess you call it, semi-clear, partly cloudy. I guess you call it a partly cloudy sky behind me. Beautiful though. There's clouds reflecting the sunlight. Anyway, we're gonna get started. We're gonna finish opening up the shop. We're gonna do our best to learn a thing or two. Have a fun and non-frustrating day. It's Friday right now. I'm filming this video on a Friday. I don't know when you're watching it, but woo, Thursday was tough. Thursday was a rough day. We're gonna do better today, so make sure come along for the ride. Stay tuned. All right, we're waiting to hear back on this Dodge from the extended warranty company, so you know how that'll probably go, but we'll see. I don't want to sound negative. We'll see if it happens. We'll try to get something done. We're taking a look at this Chevy truck. Tires are dry rotting. This thing needs some love. It's nowhere near as nice as mine, although it is quite a bit shinier. This is why you shouldn't go by how shiny something is. It's not terrible. I'm not going to say it's junk, but it needs some work. We'll go underneath here. It's got oil leaks galore. Looks like the timing cover and oil pan are leaking, and the cross member is soaked with, oh my goodness, am I seeing that right? That A-arm is about to come apart. That's no good. So you got this bushing unscrews from the arm, and it looks like it's damaged the shaft. That's what the truck squeaks when the suspension moves. That's probably why. That's really bad. Shocks, the bushings are tore up. Wow, holy moly. All right, I gotta write all this stuff down. Small oil leak from the rear main. All right, here's my fuel pump. This is what I really came under here for, because one of the first things we got to do is get this thing to stay running. And I'm going to check fuel pressure. This is 58 psi fuel system. So warm clamps to me are okay on the suction side, but on the pressure side, I want to see fittings. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. They've already got a hole here. They've already cut a slice in the hose, so I could take this apart and tee in my fuel pressure gauge, and we'll get it running. I'll let it run until it stalls, see if we still have 58 psi or more fuel pressure. So that's one thing we can do. If we do lose fuel pressure, we just check for power and ground right here, make sure it's still powering it up. This is a Meekum truck, so I just watched a video from Uncle Tony showing a guy that bought an $85,000 motorcycle and found out how to modify VIN. So buyer beware is what they say, but you know what? Seller, be honest. That's another thing. And the auction too. They all should be looking around to make sure everything's legit. In any event, that's just personal hyperbole. Let me get my fuel pressure gauge teed in here, and we'll come back. I got 2.5 hours in this 1 hour diag so far, but we're making a nice long list. So I probably wouldn't want my fuel line that close to the exhaust either, but it's coming out of the cab. I can bend that out of the way a little bit right now. I don't want to kink it though, but I want to get it a little further away so we don't get a vapor lock issue. That should be good. It's another 1.5 inches away. All right, let's tee in the gauge and we'll come back. 2015 F150 Lariat. Got the EcoBoost 3.5. Pretty clean inside. I'm gonna give it a 6, and I'm gonna say it's got 103,348 miles. It's missing a speaker grill. All right, I'm dropping it to a 5. That's unacceptable. I'm gonna put a catalytic converter. Someone looked at it and said it needed a catalytic converter. Like, Jimmy, you want to put it in? Okay. So that's what we're gonna do. Supposedly left side. Got it right here. It's a Walker aftermarket. We'll see how that all goes. I'm only responsible for installing it, that's all. And then I'll clear the code, take it for a drive, we'll see how it goes. Looks like it's about the same shape. It's half the size. What could go wrong? You're gonna take this splash shield down. You can see it a little better and gain the necessary access. Gravity check. Three out of the 4 had the little catches. There's a little there's a little nut that goes on the other side. It stops it from falling all the way out, but only one of them fell out. I'm gonna put some deep creep. Get this thing lubed up on the O2s as well, and on the clamp. I don't think we got any clamps or gaskets. Hopefully we don't need them. So I can't cut this out because it goes inside the next pipe, which is because it leaks less. It's less prone to leak that way. If this pipe went outside the next one, it would, since the exhaust is going this way, it would tend to want to leak that way, right? So they always put it inside. The following pipe will always be outside, almost always, just for that reason. If the clamp happens to loosen up over time, it won't leak quite as bad or as quickly. So anyway, it should be pretty straightforward. I'm not positive yet. Purely trying to jinx myself. So I can switch over the O2s on the workbench once I pull it out, I believe. Get these disconnected. Uh-oh. Where the heck does that one go? That's way up there underneath the brake master cylinder. Interesting. So maybe I'll unscrew that one from the pipe if I can. Turn it about 4 turns or so, it'll come out, and I can just wind it and then spin it back in 4 turns, right? Because it's ridiculous where they have the connector. We'll have to see if we can reach it maybe, but well, it's on the back of the cylinder head against the firewall. Cool. Alright. See what we can do. That went a little smoother than I expected. A lot of times you can take a hammer and hammer where you see this dent. Believe it or not, you kind of hammer that. It helps flatten the outer pipe a little bit and let the inside pipe slip out. But you can't hammer them 100% of the way around usually. You can just do most of it and it'll help. And then sometimes you even have to heat them with a torch, which we don't have a working torch, we're out of gas. But once I unbolt the front, I might be able to hammer on the pipe right here and get it to work its way out if I could heat it up. Maybe I'll get my inductive heater if I need it. We'll see. No muss, no fuss. I can't lose easy. Hopefully this one will do the same thing. Let's see. Oh yeah. Don't find me up here, will you? Watch your flashlight. Get on the ground and stay down. Put your hands behind your back. Sorry if that was traumatic for any of the criminals watching. Let's see. Got a nice long harness, so it shouldn't be a problem. Just about 3.5 turns. Maybe I'll put this on the lift instead. Now, I've got my nice long Mac Tools 1/2" to 3/8. I happen to have brought a mid-torque Milwaukee impact gun. I happen to have a Gray Pneumatic 14mm deep swivel. I think it's a 14. I brought a 15 just in case I don't know what I'm doing. It happens. You work through it. Those are 15. That's what I suspected. See? That's why I brought it. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying. I think that could have been any easier. Sorry to you guys in the Rust Belt. Let's get a hammer. I don't want this to fall on my head. And it's a little warm. It's not crazy hot, but it's got some heat in it. Something gonna go that easy? Cool. Quick lesson on why aftermarket catalytic converters cost so much less. Less material, less money. It is bent the same, so it looks like it'll fit. You can see how this pipe diameter is a little smaller, but all that really matters is whatever the smallest point is. The pipe could be 17 inches in diameter. If it goes down at 1 1/4, then it's gonna flow with that 1 1/4 will flow. But anyway, I'm going to pull most of this plastic off here if I can so it doesn't smoke and smell as long. And we'll start putting this thing back in. It looks like it's going to be straightforward. This is for vibration, I think. But, you know, doesn't matter anymore, I guess. We'll see what happens. Now, for the tricky Ricky part. And it kind of holds it up for you. I get the flange on there, get my nuts tight, or at least what I'll do is I'll just put the nuts on to hold it up top, then I'll show this a little love into the pipe the rest of the way. Screwing in the O2 sensors will be last. Let it lower this down to my height. Can't reach. I'm too short, vertically challenged. Oh. And it barely fits the studs. It's almost like aftermarket junk, I mean stuff. A couple more love taps. There you go. Close, but it's not exact. It's See what a making it work part comes in. That's what they tell me. Say, hey man, this doesn't quite fit. Well, you can make it work, can't you? I'm like, I know I named my YouTube channel that, but there's certain things I might not be able to make work. Just how it is. I will always try my best though. See that spark? Don't break anything. Tighten the top one a little more. Luckily this mid-torque and that long extension probably couldn't generate the power to break it anyway, but I don't want to find out. Let's go. Since it's going to thread this way, I'm going to wind it about 4 turns or so the other way. This anti-seize on the threads all over the place already. This is the, if you guys haven't seen me put O2 sensors in before, this is the best O2 sensor socket tool I've ever had. It's SP Tools. I used to have the snap-on wrench. It's like a ratchet with a O2 sensor socket on the end, 7/8, like a fuel line type end, and it was terrible. It would just spread, strip O2s out. I bought this, and this thing's been awesome. You want to make sure your O2s are gluten tight, because if they leak a little oxygen, it'll still set cat codes. This one, it's a free-for-all because the connector's easy to reach. And we will sink that pipe. As a matter of fact, I might have to loosen that flange back up a hair just to get that to happen. Jump ahead. My bad. Definitely loosen that flange after I plug this in. If you skip around too much, you're more likely to forget stuff. There's a little holder for it. And let's do, I want to loosen it a lot, just enough that that flange will not be pinched and it will let the pipe move. Now, see if we can get these two to get along. Stay still. All right. Should be good. Tighten the clamp back up first, and then I'll tighten the flange up top. Same way it was on before. It's another thing that you can over tighten too. When I do exhaust clamps, as soon as I see it start to dent into the outer pipe, you can't jiggle the inside pipe. You know you're good to go. Alright, I'm going to make sure that wiring harness isn't going to touch the pipe too much. We'll let this down, clear the codes, take it for a drive. I'll pull this harness over here. This looks like this little clip might be for that. Some might call it a clipper doodle. Some might not. Whatever you like. Alright. This is kind of hanging down. There's not much I can do about it though. Put a wood screw into the floor? Not. I'm gonna have to. Maybe I can have them get some high heat tape. Ask them if they're worried about it. It's been rubbing the cat for a while. And this one's smaller, so it rubs a little more. Okay, I'm gonna put this cover back up, belly pan or whatever it's called, and we'll go up in the cab. All right, while the X tool fires up, we'll get this thing started, get a little heat in that cat, and we'll clear these codes here in a second. Look at that job security light, glowing strong. Yes, I know the hood is ajar. A jar and a hood are two completely different things, but I know what they're trying to say. Good morning. All right, we got some more updates to do. We'll go ahead and do those real quick before we get in this thing and clear these codes. Machine is quick. I'm telling you, I'm so glad they fixed the glitches, because it seems like a pretty promising tool. Now that everything's working, it definitely is a promising tool. So I'm going to finalize the video for this. I'll have a standalone video for this tool, separate from the day in the shop stuff. And I'll show the trials and tribulations. And at the end, the tool is working well now. So that's a win for the X tool. It would have probably been bad for them otherwise, because it was looking pretty bleak. And it's amazing, just a few minutes worth of an update. Totally different tool. Ford USA. Initialized box. 2015 3.5. I'm just going to do system selection. We don't need to go through all the modules, but this is not a diag. Let's see what the trouble codes are. It should be a 430. I'm not sure who looked at it and what kind of diagnosis was done. They asked me to put a cat in it, so 420. That's for the right bank cat. Bank 1 on a Ford is on the right, and the one I replace is on the left. So we'll see what happens with that. Engine starter performance. Stored code, stored code. So what I'll do here is I'll send them a report and let them see up front what the code was and verify which side. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that cat I put on the left side, maybe that is the correct bank. PO 420 is for bank 1, PO 430 is for bank 2 cat efficiency. So once we save this, we'll be able to send the report. I'm going to clear this code and drive it, and we'll see what happens with this truck. I got one boat to row. You guys know what boat that is. This, guys. Another thing they need to probably fix on this tool is, once I've saved the report, the screen just stays at save, and you have to back all the way out to the home screen, about 4 or 5 taps of the back button. You get to the home screen, then it says report. Now I can share it by email. So I wish after you save it, it would go right to share by email, but you know, that's a minor inconvenience really. So I'm going to send this up front, and like I said, take it for a drive, and we'll come back if we're going any further on this. I just did an inspection on that bus. I don't want to bore you guys with it, but I did it last year too, and I failed it last year. I needed tailpipes and wiper blades and stuff, and the check engine lights on. They brought it in this year, same stuff still wrong with it. I don't know how they're passing it, but I'm not passing it. They keep driving it and not fixing it though. Apparently you fail them and they don't fix them, and then they just keep driving them. Maybe they're fudging the paperwork. I just wanted to make sure I recorded this in case something does happen. It's video evidence, right?
Thanks for calling.
A sweet, sweet Dodge Avenger. Customer smells coolant. Customer sees a leak. Customer has a coolant light on the dash. And customer has a hard to release safety. Oh, there it is. Where'd it go? There it is. I'm gonna put my money on coolant housing or heater hoses. That's what we always do on these. Let's take a look. Let us have a look. Oh, look at this. It's all over the place down here. Coolant, green stuff, hot stuff, and it's been replaced probably too, it looks like, at some point. But all right, it's definitely leaking. We're gonna find out if something else is leaking though, but put a little more. I think it might be too hot actually for me to open up. Yeah, it's freaking hot right now. It's probably low on coolant as well. The reservoir is empty. I'm gonna have to let it cool, a little pressure test it, and make sure that's what's leaking, but I can definitely see traces of coolant all over the place. And you can see it running down from the housing. See that white area, and then white running down the block, and then puddles all over the transmission. So, but I'm still going to add a little water and make sure it's not coming out anywhere else I can see. Sometimes they leak so bad you got to fix something to go further, which I don't like doing that because it's hard to explain. You know, this costs this much and now you need this much more. It's just, you want to try to get it all on the first shot. Alright, I'm going to let it cool a few minutes so I can get that cap off of there. While this thing's cooling off, it's got 106,723 miles. Dodge Motor Division of Chrysler Corporation. I think it's Stellantis now or something like that. I forget, it changes hands every few years. I'm going to give it a 4. I'm thinking, what do you guys think? 4, 5? I'm thinking 4. Oil change is not due for 21 days. 1,800 miles or so? Okay. You see, I got the project truck in the alignment rack. It's been pretty slow, so I put that steering box in. I had to get the steering wheel centered again, so that's all I'm really doing in between. I'll let this cool off a few minutes. Got to put the window down so we don't accidentally lock the keys in the car. It makes for a bad day. We have kits from when cars used to auto lock in the 90s and early 2000s. They would auto lock the doors while you had the key in the ignition. They weren't very smart back then. Doesn't happen as much anymore, but still a good habit. So, all right, we're in a holding pattern. You guys feeling patriotic? Remember this one? Oh man. For those of you who did not see it, 2014 Jeep Patriot with a love rating of 4. 162,058 miles. We put a fuse panel in it because it didn't run at all. And then we found out the PCM is bad. When you shake the connector, it shuts off. And it's got some cam sensor issues. We looked at it about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. We just got a PCM for it and 2 aftermarket cam sensors. Let's throw them in there and see what happens. Got my electrical connector off. Got my air box out of the way so I can get my tool in here. This little son of a gun is in there, but you got a little peephole here, so you can, this bracket blocks it. But this little peephole gives you an opportunity to try to do it without taking the manifold off. So we're gonna see if we can get that done with the magical electric quarter drive, 10mm swivel, and a magnet to hopefully not drop the bolt. But it should be just a little 10. It's like a 6x125 thread, pretty common. We have bunches of them. I'm gonna try not to drop it anyway. Let's see here. Uh-oh. Get my magnet ready, just in case. This magnet's not very strong, and the shield's a little bit cumbersome, but at least it's expensive, so that's the good news. Because from what I've seen on the internet, when it's more expensive, it's better. Butterfingers! Now, will it fit out of there? That's the question. We got nothing but the best replacement parts right here. This is a Fabrique and Chine Pro Forma part. And they wrap it in security plastic so you know it's good. So far it looks right, and it looks like it will barely fit out. Let's give it a whirl. Enough speculating. I think these are going to be more work than putting a PCM in, so I'll do these first. Come on, man. Let's do this. Come on. I know you want me to break the fuel line. I really don't want to do that, though. I'm going to try to be persistent and consistent and resistant to snappage. All right. Well, what about if we do this? See these O-rings, when they get where they're going, they really like to stay. They're like that roommate you can't get him to leave, but he doesn't pay rent. Same thing. Barely fits. Now I gotta be more gentle with the new one. I'm gonna put a little bit of clean engine oil on it and try to install it without damaging the pins in there. A little engine oil on here is going to help in my instalaciones. This is the easy part. You got to get the bolt in afterwards. Hey man, they left just enough room. That's nice. They're so thoughtful, Bill and Bob. These guys are all right. I should stop giving them a hard time online. There it is. All right, now I get this lined up. It was just barely turned to the driver's side of the vehicle. Should be able to get my bolt in there. Now I wish I could show you this, but I'm gonna use a mirror to look through here. Let's see if I can line it up. That's nice. I wish I could squeeze you guys down in there, but there's about this much room, and the camera's 3 times the size. It's just not gonna happen. Let's see what we can do with the magnet and the bolt. See how tricky we can get. Don't let go of your magnet yet. Reverse your ratchet very carefully with the thumb from the opposing hand, or both fingers. Now I don't advise machine starts, but sometimes they don't leave you any options, Bill and Bob. So you gotta do what you gotta do. You don't always have a choice. Oh, it almost fell out. Come here, man. Let's do this. That was not this gun. That was not this gun making all that noise. No pins are bent. Double check that. Snap that on. Snap the little safety latch. I'll pop the one in the back real quick. It's an easier one. Then we'll throw the ECM in there. I mean, we'll throw the ECM in it. I didn't know you had a rusty hat. Oh, there's another bolt back. Good thing I didn't put my magnet away. Remember I said I shouldn't put it away because then I'm going to need it. What's the chances of dropping the bolts that are right here? I don't understand the rhythm. Something with the feng shui. The yin and the yang. Look at that thing.
Would you just look at it?
Let's look at it. I like how it's got one bolt in the back, 2 in the front, so you don't put it in the wrong way. Super handy dandy. Yeah, they're like, let's not plug those connectors in wrong. Knowing Bill and Bob, same connector or something. Even though that one didn't want to come in. That's what you're marrying when you get the redhead. That's what it's going to be in 30 years. You're like, yo! All right, let's get in that thing and see what things happens. Bill and Bob and Dorman, everyone working together to make this happen. All right, here goes nothing. Let's get a scanner. We'll probably got to do a throttle body learn. It's not real happy. And it feels like it's misfiring. That'll be new. Could probably send us a bad PCM. I wouldn't expect that from Dorman, but anything's possible. This computer is supposed to be plug and play, but that only means we shouldn't have to do like a full programming, but we'll still probably have to do some kind of initializing, VIN compatibility type thing, and a throttle learn and things like that. It's saying change engine oil, so I'm not sure when the last time that was reset. That might have already been there. I'm going to check this VIN against the VIN of the vehicle, and we'll see if it's the correct VIN. Yep, 764093, 764-093. That's good. Automatic scan. Start the engine, it said. The scanner wants me to start it, but I don't think the computer wants me to. We'll let this finish up. I'm going to just clear all the codes because nothing code-wise really matters at this point. Just go clear all DTCs. Central gateway. Could be the code with that. Read trouble code. UO195 Lost Comet S-DARS. That's a different deal. Check engine lights on, probably because it wants us to do a throttle learn. Read trouble code. Active, cam crankshaft timing misalignment. I haven't done a cam sensor learn, that may be an issue. Let's go clear trouble code. Engine must not be running. I noticed my throttle light went out. Clear all trouble codes, yep. Read trouble codes. No trouble codes. Special functions. Cam crank relearn we're going to do. Learn ETC, electronic throttle control. I'm going to do that. Press and hold accelerator to the floor. Press continue. Hold it firmly to the floor. 5 seconds. It's running a timer for me. Release accelerator. Press continue. Do not touch. 6-second timer. Learn complete. Learn passed. Now I'm going to do cam crank learn. This function may be used repetitively, requires camera to be relearned. Okay. Setting cam and crank, relearn, enable. Okay. Start engine. Whoop, I got to warm it up. Alright, so we'll warm it up a little bit and then we'll do a cam crank relearn again. Changes anytime you change cam sensors or timing chains or any of that kind of stuff, you got to do the cam crank relearn. Make sure they're all happy because you're talking about thousandths of a degree difference. So if something reads just a little off, it's going to mess with ignition timing and all kinds of potential other problems. So we'll let this warm up a little bit and we'll try it again. Once the temperature gauge is between about 1/4 and 1/2, it'll let me do it 158 degrees. Alright, all of a sudden it got about 1/4 of the way up on the gauge and it started saying cam crank relearn in progress. I'm telling you guys, I was really sketchy on this X tool at first, but so far everything's working great that I've tried with it. So those updates made it like a totally different tool. It's doing things as you would expect. So good on them for fixing the glitches I had. I'm hoping that those glitches aren't going to be a problem for everyone, that you have to wait for the update. I'm hoping that the update comes to you when you first update the tool, because when I first got this tool, it had like 250 some odd updates I had to do. It took literally like probably 45 minutes or an hour to update everything. So hopefully that the update that fixed these glitches, like I said, is part of that. So this may take a minute. We'll let this run and we'll come back, show you how it finishes up. Alright, well, it will not do the cam crank relearn. It keeps setting a cam crank correlation code, P0017, which is new. If you guys watched the video on this car a few weeks ago, it had a battery light on, but it was charging. But the PCM wasn't sending out the signal, the control signal to the alternator. So that's out. The alternator light is out. Battery light, same difference. And I had a cam sensor code for both intake and exhaust circuit codes. I forget the number, 354 or something like that. So I tested. I had my 5 volts, I had my ground, I didn't have a signal coming out. So we put 2 sensors in it, hoping that that was going to fix it. And it may have. I don't get the circuit codes, but I'm getting a cam timing code now. Possibly it has a cam timing issue and those circuit codes stopped it from checking that. I'm not sure. But I do know one thing, they come back hardcore and they will not let me do the cam crank relearn because it's setting a cam timing code, P0017. Cam crank timing misalignment, bank 1 sensor 2 active. So it's not happy about that. Let me go in and talk to them about this and see if they want to do a flowchart on this code or try another PCM. It's possible there's just going to be another problem with this car. It's got 162,000 miles on it. We have got the battery light out, and we've got the vehicle didn't run when it came in at all. So who knows how long it's had the check engine light on and been having little problems. I'm not really sure. So I'll check with them and we'll see what else can happen with this car. I've got a couple hours in it now, trying to get it to clear and learn cam and crank. I was hoping it was setting that code because of that, but it doesn't look like that's the case, which I knew it was a long shot, but I was going to try it. This customer's been trying to get their car back for a few weeks. I know they don't want to check engine light though, so it took a while for the rebuilder to set up a PCM for us already programmed, and so we'll have to go further. We'll see. We'll come back to it. Okay, it's getting real now. I got the top down out because I could not get the cam crank relearn done, and it kept showing me a P0017. Very odd. So I'm going to try the top down out of desperation, but one thing I've already noticed is the check engine light's not on right now. It may come on and fail this test. That's what the X tool kept failing it, and it kept resetting the code, but the check engine light was popping right back on, which we'll see if something different happens. It's been interesting the past couple of days, but I'm still rowing. Don't worry. Row. I should go get the paddle off the wall. Be a lot more realistic. Well, that's unfortunate. The top down won't do it either, but it's weird the check engine light's not on, but I'm still getting the code. That is more than just a little strange. Okay, remember when I said I'm going to go ask them up front how much time they want me to spend on it? That's what I'm going to do now. Haven't had my favorite scan tool out in a while, so we might as well catch up on the updates. You might notice Mercedes and Volkswagen, they always take the longest. Mercedes, longest of all. But all the other updates were about a minute, literally, and it's been a few minutes. They're still going. All right, I'm going to see if this solenoid clicks when I tell it to. Oop, I heard it. Can hear it again. You probably can't hear it though. Clicked again. All right, it's doing something. Now I'm going to try the other one. See what it does. This one's going to be hard. I'll have to hold the hold things in place. The exhaust phaser, 100%. I heard the click, but it sounded different. I'm in a slightly different place. Let's try to get in the same spot. %. I heard dunk, and I hear a little buzzing noise. 100%. Pop, bink. Whoa, that's a loud click on that thing, I'll tell you what. So they're doing something. So I just wanted to make sure those are doing something, because that's a possibility too. But it doesn't mean that the oil passages aren't plugged or something. Let's see now that I activated them if it changed anything, just for fun. Engine must be running. Okay. Let this cook a minute. Uh-oh. Bing! Check engine. In progress, but I got a feeling it's not going to be happy. Alright. They wanted me to try a couple more little things we're going to see here, and not feeling too good about it. Something else I noticed, the sensors I put in, and I'll show you. Not sure if it's supposed to do that. To move the sensor in the head. Alright guys, we got Project Truck Heaven going on back here. We're going to try doing a phaser cleaning on that Jeep on Monday. We'll see if that'll do anything. He's saying now that the alternator light was a big concern, the battery light, and that's fixed. but I really want to get all of the codes fixed if we can. It came in not running. If you're not familiar with that Jeep, we put an IPDM in it, a fuse panel, because it wouldn't run, and the ASD relay wasn't sending power out to turn the computers on when you turn the key on. So we fixed that, and then we fixed the battery light with the PCM. If you saw the other video, I was grabbing the connector and shutting the engine off. So all that's fixed. We fixed a lot, but it's not done. It needs more. So we'll try a phaser cleaning on Monday on the intake and exhaust. We'll see if that does anything. Solenoids are definitely clicking. I can hear that happening. So oil's clean and full. We'll play with it some more Monday. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you'll torque the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and don't forget, check out the Amazon store. You got all weekend. You can look at some stuff, maybe pick up a tool or two you saw me using in the shop. And I hope I see you in the next one, because you're awesome.